Welcome back. We move on. Vegetables, preparations, and using vegetables for food. We have just discussed how vegetables are cooked and how they are supposed to be cooked. So we welcome you back to continue just from where we left, and we want to move on to yet another important part of cooking vegetables. And this is not exclusively on vegetables, but different types of food. We eat. Doctors say eat this, and the problem is we go and eat it without considering other factors. Now, food combinations. Can we just eat any food at any time with any other food, or how are we supposed to do it? It already sounds funny to just say eating anything at any time with anything. Yeah, so is there any law which is supposed to guide us when using legumes, for example, when using such vegetables, which vegetables should be taken? And just before we go there is these vegetables which are commercially produced in quotes like sukuma wiki, spinach, and cabbages. Then there are the other ones which they are rarely found. In fact, managu is already coming. It is almost becoming commercial. So tell us something about the difference between the two groups just before we move to the topic.
When we are cooking vegetables, before I come to that, there is an upcoming complaint whereby when people have ulcers, they tell them don't use tomato in your soup. That has come to be true because raw tomato has a different composition when you cook it. When you cook it, it releases oxalic acid, which can continue affecting your stomach or if you have arthritis. And number two, what I don't want to forget is cooking in aluminium sufuria. Aluminium sufuria react with most of these vegetables. They are alkaline in nature. And so when you cook them in there, you have a lot of aluminium toxicity. So if you have a lot of gas in your stomach, you try every medication, you do all the tests, you can also check on the sufurias that you're using.
Okay.
Now coming to the combination of food, it has been found out that mixing sukuma wiki with other vegetables is not so safe, especially mixing it with sukuma wiki mixing it with spinach. Sukuma wiki has an acid, perhaps oxalic and some others, which react with other vegetables, being them very alkaline. So always prefer, if you can, cook it alone and you cook the rest of the other vegetables alone. And also when we are making our combination, we could not prefer cooking more than 3 vegetables at the same time. Yes.
You talk about sukuma wiki. You can cook it separately and then eat together.
If you are to cook sukuma wiki, cook it as sukuma wiki. Eat that meal. If you are to cook spinach and eat it at that meal.
Okay, we have to unlearn. As much as we are learning a lot in healthful living and even in general life about most things, we also have to learn how to unlearn, to just format your memory or to delete some things which you thought they are so, but actually they are the exact opposite of them. Tomatoes with ulcers. So tomatoes, when you take them, when you're having problem with your ulcers, with your stomach, that is stomach ulcers, for example, you can take it when raw.
Yes.
That is alkaline.
Yes.
But when you cook it, it becomes acidic because of the oxalic acid. Just learn that. When you try, even in your body, you'll find that every time you take it, it will have a problem. It will bring problems to your stomach. Aluminium. I am told that when you take aluminium, always it is aluminium oxide. It rarely stands as aluminium as a metal. It is always very fast to react with oxygen to form the oxide, which is dangerous. It affects men more. That is what I just learned the other time we were with Sister Agatha. So ensure you look for the much better sufurias, stock of glass, which is quite expensive. But just before glass we have lead.
Also have stainless and also
steel.
have our old pots.
Or pots.
Which even make the food more tastier.
Wow. So you can just take a pot and use it on gas.
Actually, that's what we use.
Thank you. The Bible is talking about that in the book of Jeremiah chapter 16. Chapter 6 verse 16. It tells us that we go and look for that old path So if even if you are in Nairobi, you use gas, you can go for a pot. It is more healthy. It is even better. It makes the food to be sweeter. So look for a lead sufuria. It is expensive, but if you don't have money to go to the hospital, then use that money to go to the to get the quality things. We wanted to talk about other combination of foods. What about fruits, vegetables? We are told to eat a lot of fruits. So when should we be eating it? Should we just be eating fruits all the time? Take sukuma wiki, eat with ugali, add some fruit there. It sounds good. But what does our body require? What does our body also reject?
Now, if vegetables and fruits, they all have minerals and vitamins that the body needs, but their composition is different. Most of the vegetables, they are alkaline in nature, and most of the fruits are acidic in nature. So if you eat fruits and vegetables at the same meal, when this acid reacts with the alkaline, they form salt. So as the salts begin accumulating in your system, you will be predisposing yourself to gallbladder stones, and most commonly the kidney stones. Yeah.
So it's just that simple. Take a fruit which is alkaline, add a vegetable which is acidic. They react. In high school we learn about reaction of acids with bases, and when they react, they form salts. These salts, some of them in high school, I don't know, it was from 3 or from 2 there, we were learning that some of the salts are they are hard. They are not hard. They are they are insoluble. They cannot dissolve. So that insolubility is what is called stones. You wonder, someone says, I have kidney stones. How did these stones reach the kidney? It is because of that reaction of the acids and the salts. What about avocado? You know, we are almost, if it was a live thing, we'll be stoned. What about avocado?
Avocado
with
is
sukuma wiki and most vegetables which people like taking in high school or so.
Yes, avocado is more relatively neutral. So it's one of the things that crosses over. You can eat it with your vegetables, or you can put it in your fruit salad. And still on that point, we prefer that if you're eating vegetables, eat them alone, and fruits alone. And most preferably, if you're to take vegetables, take them in the morning or lunchtime. Then in the evening, take fruits, because they are easily digestible than the vegetables.
Wow, that comes as a sure relief for all avocado lovers who they always have avocado in most of their foods when they're taking vegetables. So it is almost neutral, so you can eat it with the vegetable, you can eat it with any other thing, with any other fruit, because it is not having a problem with acids. It does not have a problem with bases. What about bananas? Are bananas neutral or in which side?
Now bananas are quite tricky, but let me say this way. If you have banana in matoke form, the one we eat in Uganda, the cooked one, it is highly acidic. But when it ripens, then it is neutral, relatively neutral. But I'll not advise that you eat them with vegetables. Reason being that they are very high in sugar. So because they are so sugary and they are easily digestible, by the time they finish digesting them, then the vegetables will have fermented in the stomach. And that's cuts across other fruits. They're always sweet and they're easily digestible, so they're worked on fast. By the time they come to the vegetables, they've already fermented.
Wow, that one is tricky science. The science of our own organism. You're supposed to understand how your body works, how the various foods we eat, how they react in our stomach. That is the most important part of learning that you're supposed to do. So don't food and food issues, nutrients, all that is not a side issue. It's a core course to each individual, to each living creature. Now, as we move from that, we want to touch something little on salads and these raw foods which we take. You notice there is also this moving into eating raw food. It is coming in, it's becoming fashionable in many places. When you move, for example, in a town, we find someone says, I'm selling fresh fruits. salads, such which were rarely seen except in big hotels in Nairobi or so. So what about salads? How are they supposed to be prepared and so forth?
Now, if you're to prepare salad, let me begin with a vegetable salad. First of all, human beings, we should not miss a salad in our meal. The more we cook food, we shall always lose a percentage of nutrients from it. But when we eat fresh food, we eat all the nutrients with it.
Okay.
But how we prepare it can spoil it. One, if you're to do a vegetable salad, make sure that you prepare it and eat it immediately before it oxidizes. And some people love putting canned salt. Canned salt is not advisable to be put in salt. That is common salt. Because it affects the heart, the vessels, the system is generally affected by that salt. And some people put vinegar as a dressing. Vinegar is an alcohol, and when you eat it with your salads, it delays the digestion and they just ferment in your stomach. Even if you're using an oil, it's not very much advisable. And even squeezing lemon, we've said lemon is highly acidic. It only becomes alkaline after metabolism. So when you put it on this acidic vegetable salad, then when you eat it, it will predispose you to kidney stones.
Wow, that one is becoming interesting. We'll keep on unlearning what we have previously thought as fashionable. You know, people want fashionable clothes, fashionable food, then they get fashionable diseases, and finally they get fashionable deaths, which is quite unfortunate. But you are not late. You can change from where you are. You detoxify your body. You now move on to better ways. And talking of this detoxification, it is not the detox which are being seen everywhere in the internet, in the market. They are being sold that these are detox, clear your liver, clean your liver within 24 hours, 1 day, or so forth. So that is it. As clear as that, you can do more research and find much more on that. Possibly we can just do a recap about vegetable salads. You have just talked about it a little bit. Then fruit salad, anything you can touch on?
Fruit salads as also as useful as vegetable salads. The principle just remains the same. But always prefer that if you're doing say citrus fruits, let them be citrus only. And it has been seen with some other people, when you do a fruit salad containing watermelon, they react with that salad because watermelon has a lot of water. So it tends to delay the digestion. And when you're mixing your fruits, let them not be more than 3 to 4. Yes.
So citrus fruits alone, the other fruits alone. Then take care when you are using watermelon. Eat watermelon independently, because they react. When we'll be meeting next week, we'll look much more on how to prepare legumes and so forth. Just a repeat or a reminder that these things we are talking about, when you look at we talked about the vegetable salad, take note of that vinegar, which you have been told it's a problem. It's an alcohol. In fact, it is more refined than alcohol, if I may put it that way. So it decomposes that fruit or vegetable salad. We have talked about lemon. Lemon has a problem. It is acidic, so it reacts with the basic, for example, the basic other fruits which are basic. So ensure you don't have that. Prepare salads and take them immediately. What happens when you eat it the next day?
That is so useless, because when it oxidizes, oxygen mixes with these minerals. It's like they lose their healing component and their nutritive component. So it's always better you prepare them and you use them. As something like carrots and others, within 25 minutes, they lose their vitamins, like vitamin A in carrots. 25 minutes exposed or cut, it is all gone. 25
minutes.
Yeah.
So the ones we eat in the hotels, they have stayed there for 25 hours.
That's why they put vinegar to preserve them.
So it means now you also have to be eating more at home than in the hotels. You eat fast foods, you get big, but there is little nutrient there. So take much more food at home than the hotels or in even the neighbors, unless they have changed how they cook. We want to finish there. Possibly a word from you before we close.
Just one word. If you want to make your salads richer, you can add nuts, whether in a butter form, or you can add them wholesome, so that you also get the oil bit of it and the protein value.
Yeah, on the nuts, it is not only ground nuts, which we have cashew nuts among others. Variety. The other time we were discussing months ago about the food types, food colors. It's not by accident that God did put them there. You find a tomato is red, and science now says that take a tomato, for your heart it has blood inside. There is this other fruit, it looks like an egg, I don't know the name, but it has something red inside. Look at beetroots. We talked about all these things. There is this fruit called, not fruit but a vegetable, not a vegetable, it's a legume, a bean type called kidney beans. It actually looks like the kidneys, and science now says that it is important for the development of the kidneys, for the cleaning of the kidneys. Finally, take the avocado. When you turn it, there are some which look like the uterus, and science now says that it is important for the development of the uterus. And someone convinces you that all these things came by luck through evolution. So that one is not true. Possibly we will look into that much more. We thank God for this session. Thank you for joining us.
Welcome.
My name is Kevin, and she's
Zahara.
Thank you.